Losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the blast. Sleepless nights and headache stack. Restlessness to hell.
Have you noticed something lately? When people talk about flagship phone cameras, the spotlight almost always lands on the Pro or Ultra models. The standard versions are slowly fading into the background. Bigger main sensors, stronger zoom lenses, and more advanced imaging algorithms usually go straight to the top-tier models, while the regular versions barely get any attention. So it makes you wonder, are brands still taking camera performance seriously on their standard flagships? How good is the imaging experience on each brand's regular model today, and which one actually comes out on top? With that question in mind, we brought together 6 popular standard flagships from Huawei, Xiaomi, OPPO, vivo, Apple, and Honor for a head-to-head showdown. The iPhone 17, Xiaomi 17, and Vivo X300 all stick to a compact design. A quick shout out to my tech partner from China for sharing this video. A big thank you for making this possible. Hey everyone, it's Maiky from techmaiky. If you love staying updated with the latest gadgets, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our exciting tech content. Keeping their screen size around 6.3 inches. That makes them comfortable to hold, whether you're shooting photos or just using them day to day. Quick question for you. How many of you pick the standard model mainly because it feels better in the hand? Even though these phones share a similar size, their camera strategies are very different. Vivo X300 seems to be shaping its standard version into a small but serious imaging flagship. Meanwhile, Xiaomi 17 and iPhone 17 keep a clear gap between the regular and Pro models when it comes to camera potential. Then you've got the Find X9, Honor Magic 8, and Huawei Mate 80, which follow a more traditional approach to standard flagships, aiming for overall balance first, with some compromises on imaging. Alongside these 6 mainstream players, we also invited 2 special guests from the T-Hall. One is the Realme GT8 co-branded with Ricoh GR, and the other is Meizu 22, which is starting to put more emphasis on photography. So now we've got 6 core contenders and 2 challengers stepping into the arena. Next up, let's dive into what really matters, how these standard models perform when it comes to taking photos. When you look at images, quality usually jumps out right away. Specs can sound impressive on paper, but at the end of the day, real photos tell the true story. That said, hardware still sets the ceiling. If there's a big gap in sensor quality, even the smartest algorithms can't fully make up for it. Right now, top flagship phones are locked in an intense camera arms race, but among standard versions, the differences in lens choices are much more obvious. You can see all the lens specs on screen. Feel free to pause if you want a closer look. For the main camera, Xiaomi and Meizu go all in on large sensors. Vivo focuses on ultra-high resolution, and Huawei sticks with its RYB setup plus a variable aperture. The iPhone uses a 26mm equivalent focal length, which gives it a slightly narrower field of view. It's hard to declare a clear winner based on specs alone. The real question is how these choices translate into everyday photos. On the telephoto side, most brands, except Xiaomi and Apple, have adopted periscope lenses. Huawei stands out with a much longer starting focal length at 132mm, which honestly made me curious. In that 100mm mid to long zoom range, how smooth is the transition and how usable are the results? For ultra-wide cameras, whether it's iPhone, Xiaomi, or Vivo, they're basically using the same solution as their Pro models. Most of these sensors are relatively small, under 1.67 inches, but a 50-megapixel resolution is more than enough for landscapes and wide scenes. Realme is the only exception here, sticking with an 8-megapixel ultra-wide lens. Also worth mentioning are the color assist lenses on OPPO and Huawei. Their value isn't about raw specs, but how well they help with color consistency and reproduction. Before we started shooting, we reset every phone camera to default settings. During the tests, we also used each brand's standard image style, so everything reflects what regular users would experience straight out of the box. Let's begin with the main cameras and their color rendering. In this first set of samples, iPhone and OPPO look closest to real life. The colors on the cat sculpture and the wall match what you see with your own eyes. Huawei's shot appears slightly cooler and whiter. Meanwhile, Realme and Xiaomi push saturation higher. The dark red on the cat comes out brighter and more vivid, leaning toward a stronger true red. Let's keep talking about color. In this next group of shots, focusing on the flower in the center, Huawei delivers the most natural color reproduction. Xiaomi, on the other hand, clearly overexposes the scene, blowing out highlight details. Looking at the layers of the surrounding red flowers, you'll notice that the parts hit directly by sunlight shift toward an orange-red tone, while the shaded areas appear closer to true red. Xiaomi, Vivo, Meizu, and Realme all managed to separate these subtle color differences pretty well. OPPO and Huawei, however, because of their single-lens red peak color system, render the flowers in a more uniform red, which ends up flattening the depth a bit. Now let's talk about the sky. In these Twin Towers samples, every phone except the iPhone pushes saturation too far. Meizu stands out the most, with a very deep blue sky. At first glance, it might look cleaner and more vibrant, but after staring at it for a while, it starts to feel unnatural. Moving on to dynamic range, Huawei clearly takes the lead here thanks to its LOFIX sensor. In these bridge arch photos, Huawei can clearly reveal all 9 pillars inside the arch, while most other phones only manage to show 3 or 4 before the shadows get crushed. In this backlit corner scene, the two challenger phones struggle, with HDR misjudgments causing visible white halos around the leaves in the upper right corner. Huawei's variable aperture handles highlights much more steadily, producing brighter and more controlled results in strong backlight. Next up is resolution, starting indoors. In low light conditions, when zooming in on the English text in the center of the painting, Xiaomi and Vivo stay sharp, and the iPhone also holds up well. OPPO doesn't do as great here. The text edges look slightly soft, and sharpening feels a bit heavy-handed. But once we move outdoors into brighter lighting, things change. In this small boat scene, zooming in on the lettering, OPPO and iPhone come out on top in clarity. Here's why. OPPO prioritizes its ultra-clear mode by default, allowing 50 megapixel output in many daylight situations, giving it a resolution advantage in bright environments. The iPhone sticks to its default 24 megapixel output, which still preserves detail very nicely. Of course, Vivo might argue it has something bigger to show thanks to its 200 megapixel mode. So let's jump straight into the high megapixel comparison. In these riverside sign shots, Vivo absolutely dominates. The text is noticeably sharper than on every other phone, proving just how powerful that 200 megapixel sensor really is. Huawei and OPPO follow behind, with the iPhone coming next. One thing to note though, Vivo and Huawei usually need a few seconds to process high-res shots, which makes them less convenient than OPPO's automatic approach. After covering daytime performance, let's switch to night photography. In simpler night scenes, all the phones perform reasonably well overall, but Huawei shows clear color shift issues. In one main camera sample, the entire image leans reddish. In another moonlit scene, the walls turn greenish. It feels like the red light lens isn't being fully utilized in low light situations right now. Night shooting is all about highlight control, and this is where Vivo shines. It takes first place, with Honor right behind. Realme doesn't aggressively suppress highlights in default mode, but switching manually to night mode instantly improves things. Still, for flagship phones, basic illuminated signs are too easy, so we push them harder. In this park sign test, the results become very clear. Almost everyone fails, except Vivo. Vivo not only controls the highlights properly, but the text on the road sign remains clearly readable. Honor, OPPO, Huawei, and Realme look acceptable at first, but once you zoom in, some letters are completely blown out. Meizu doesn't fully suppress highlights either. The iPhone does reduce highlights, but at the cost of turning the background almost completely black, losing a lot of shadow detail. Most surprising of all is Meizu, which shows large areas of strange smearing, and this happened repeatedly, even after multiple retakes. Now let's talk about another lens people use all the time, telephoto. Telephoto compresses perspective and often delivers more artistic results. Photography, after all, is often about simplifying the scene. Starting with these 3x zoom samples, if I didn't tell you, could you immediately spot that the iPhone and Huawei shots were actually cropped from the main camera? Once you zoom in, though, the iPhone quickly shows its limits. The text on distant windows becomes noticeably soft. Huawei genuinely surprised me here, delivering much better clarity. While it can't match true telephoto hardware, it's far more usable than the iPhone. Since Huawei uses a longer focal length, we also tested around 5x zoom. The moonlight rings framed in antique gold and bronze look solid across all phones. But at this level, Huawei's native 5.5x zoom doesn't really pull ahead in resolution compared to other Android models. Let's crank things up to 10x. At this magnification, Realme loses clarity and looks hazy. Meizu goes too hard on sharpening and local contrast, giving the image an artificial texture. Vivo still holds strong. Zooming in, you can clearly see the outlines of bricks on the rooftops. Huawei, despite having a 5.5x telephoto lens, doesn't reach top-tier resolution here. Beyond zoom, another feature I personally love is macro photography. Telephoto macro gives more natural background blur and depth compression. Unfortunately, OPPO, Huawei, and Realme don't support telephoto macro at all. Get too close and the camera simply fails to focus, like you see in this sample. Compared to other standard models, this removes an entire shooting option, forcing users back to the main camera or ultra-wide cropping, which noticeably reduces sharpness. Xiaomi handles this much better. Even though its telephoto lens is vertical, the floating lens group enables telephoto macro, opening up far more creative flexibility. All right, let's wrap things up by talking about the ultra-wide cameras. Just one photo already shows how different the perspectives are. Xiaomi's 17mm lens gives the narrowest view, while Honor goes super wide with a 12mm lens. But that extreme width comes with a downside. Honor places its ultra-wide lens too low on the module, so when you're shooting vertically with one hand, it's really easy to accidentally get your fingers in the frame. Honestly, putting the ultra-wide lens at the top would make much more sense. It would reduce mistakes and fit real-world grip habits better. When it comes to sharpness, Meizu and Realme sit at the bottom, OPPO delivers the crispest results, and Vivo takes second place. If you zoom in, Vivo actually shows richer wall textures than most of the others. I do want to call out Meizu here. The main camera already gives the sky a bluish tint, but the ultra-wide pushes it way too far, making the scene feel disconnected and unnatural. That leads nicely into color consistency across lenses. The iPhone does the best job here. Even with just two cameras, its color style stays impressive. Consistent. OPPO and Huawei follow behind with fairly smooth transitions between lenses. Meizu still needs more work in this area. Now we're at everyone's favorite part, portraits. For this section, we used portrait mode across the board. There are a few small details worth mentioning first. Honor's default portrait aspect ratio is 5:4, which makes the final images look more square. When it comes to focal lengths in portrait mode, Xiaomi, Vivo, Honor, and Meizu are locked to a single option, while Huawei can't use its telephoto lens for portraits at all, so it can really only be compared directly with the iPhone here. Settings also vary. OPPO and Huawei don't turn on beauty mode by default in portrait mode, so we manually enabled it to make comparisons easier and more fair. Of course, what really matters is how people actually look in the photos, so let's go straight to the samples. After this round, OPPO and Vivo clearly understand popular taste. OPPO's portraits lean warm and translucent, giving that instantly pleasing look. Vivo also pushes warmer skin tones, but handles makeup details better, creating a stronger overall vibe and making it easier to get attractive shots. Meizu comes out too bright, eye-catching at first, but tiring over time. The iPhone sticks to a more display-focused approach. It doesn't intentionally brighten faces in low light, which makes its portraits less striking at first glance. Next, let's talk about the overall shooting experience. Camera interfaces across brands are becoming more similar, and the learning curve is pretty low. You can basically pick up any of these phones and start shooting right away. Huawei and Honor place more controls at the bottom of the screen, letting you swipe up to adjust settings, which works better for one-handed use. OV and Realme keep the traditional top quick menu, meaning you have to reach for the upper right corner for extra options, which isn't as convenient with one hand. Meizu lets you swipe down to bring the top menu closer, and that actually feels quite practical. Xiaomi uses swipe up to switch shooting modes and swipe down for certain parameters. The iPhone sticks to its minimalist philosophy. You basically get just photo and video on the main interface, while many features are hidden in dynamic menus or even buried in system settings. From a usability standpoint, that's not very intuitive. Plenty of longtime iPhone users still don't realize you can adjust camera resolution separately. That said, the iPhone does maintain excellent zoom continuity. Even without a telephoto lens, switching from ultra-wide to main camera feels smooth and unified, almost like using a single lens. Vivo also impressed us here, with very fluid viewfinder animations when changing lenses, giving the whole experience a more polished feel. OPPO, Realme, Honor, and Xiaomi fall into a solid middle tier, offering balanced performance and reasonably natural transitions. Huawei, because of the larger gap between its main and telephoto lenses, shows more noticeable perspective shifts when switching. Meizu still needs refinement. Lens changes feel abrupt, and after taking a photo, switching focal lengths doesn't respond instantly, which can cause you to miss quick moments. So, Coming back to our original question, do brands really care about the cameras on standard flagships? The answer is yes, but with limits. If you're chasing the absolute best image quality and full focal length coverage, the Pro models are still the only real option. But if you just want a phone that feels great in hand, takes nice portraits, and makes it easy to share everyday photos on social media, today's standard models already meet the needs of most users. Overall, standard flagships are no longer just stripped-down versions. They're starting to carve out their own identities through design and specific focal length experiences. Over the past couple of years, brands have also become much more invested in building distinct imaging styles. It's clear that mobile photography is gradually shifting away from pure spec battles towards storytelling through style. And honestly, that's an industry-wide trend. The challenge, though, is that style is subjective and hard to judge by the same standard. That's why we focus this comparison on core image quality rather than artistic expression. At the end of the day, fundamentals set the baseline of every photo. Style only matters when there's a solid foundation underneath. Great photography isn't just about stacking filters. If you're more interested in camera styles, we can dive into that in a future comparison. What kind of visual style do you think smartphones are moving toward right now? And finally, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.